Hey, 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 beautiful souls. We're going to break down walls of Jericho. Just do it. Do it. We're going to break down walls of Jericho. Just do it. Do it. Do it. That song has been in my head for like weeks. It just pops up out of nowhere. I don't know where it's coming from, but I don't know. It's just pops up out of nowhere. So we are living in that time where we're breaking down walls of Jericho. Yes, yes, yes. But first of all, I come on here to pay homage to my sister Cheryl Anise Bethea, who lost her life to domestic violence on this day 12 years ago. So I've been doing this for several years now. I'm going to always remember her on her birthday and on her death date. And she always sent me a rainbow. And 2 days ago, there was a rainbow. And I'm like, okay, sis, I got you. I'm going to remember you today. So here's to you, Cheryl. We still love you. We still think about you. We still going to keep your name in our mouth. We're going to say your name. In my book, Her Voice Beyond the Grave, I wrote in chapter 7 a little quote. My road to justice. On this road for justice, what I learned along the way is I had to continue to say my dead loved one name until someone heard me. So their voiceless voice would not only become the forgotten, but nameless too. So say their name. Quote, Cassandra Bethea Shine. Yes. So, this is important to say. I know people right now is still waiting for justice, still like just waiting for something to happen. Sometimes you have to take control and say their name. Keep their name in your mouth. Keep their name in other people's ears so they know that you mean business. I can remember my sister trial, her hearing, it never really went to a trial. It was a hearing. It took 5 years for my sister to get justice. But you know what I did? I said her name. I wrote her name. I put it out. I broadcasted in the airways. I broadcasted what was going on in court. I did blogs about her. I did 6 blogs. But before I got to the 6th blog, on the 3rd blog, they said, we are closing this case. So, you are the voice piece for your loved one if you want justice in anything that you do. So, with that being said, we love you, Cheryl. You are still being remembered. You still have a voice in this community. You have changed people's lives in your living as well as your death. And we so appreciate you. You were very well loved in this community. And domestic violence, I am so proud of our community because the awareness is out there. And I can remember coming into this arena. And the reason why I call it a arena, because it was an arena. I don't usually like to title things. So what I thought was really important for Sound the Silence was not to title it like I'm fighting or, fight against domestic violence. I didn't want to title it like we're always like, but I would definitely say it has been an arena. And what I noticed in this arena of domestic violence was silence. That's what I noticed immediately was the silence. So Cheryl gave a voice to women to say, I was in domestic violence, and now I am sharing my story. I am sharing my voice. I am inspiring other women to share their voice. I am taking the stigma and shame off of domestic violence. Because there is no reason why a woman should be going through stigma and shame and guilt and all that when she was abused. There is no reason. I guess y'all have heard the news about Yada. Some of you probably don't know who he is. He's like a conscious figure in the conscious community. He has been abusing his wife, allegedly, for 8 years. And she has come out. And one thing I love what she said was, I decided to choose me. She made a choice to choose her. She had been going through domestic violence for 8 years. And she's finally come out and released herself from this relationship. And I am so proud to hear women. She said she was ashamed and all of that. But I am so proud to hear women saying they're choosing themselves. And even though they might be going through shame, guilt, and all this stuff, they are speaking. They are standing up for themselves. And let me tell you something. We are living in the age of Aquarius. And we have left the patriotic system. And we are now in the matriarch. So the patriarch they have abused their power. They have abused their power. So the matriarch is here to balance the scales of Ma'at. And I'm going to tell you now, if any man is out here mistreating, abusing women, disrespecting them, and children, you're going to be dealt with. And I don't mean on this, well, you probably will on the physical, but you are being taken to spiritual court. Ma'at, Mother Nature, the Most High, they're not waiting for justice here in this third dimension. They're taking your butt to spiritual court immediately. It ain't no delay like it was with my sister. Times have changed. So this is my advice to men out here. If you are mistreating a woman, you better get your act together. Because my aunt ain't playing. She's balancing the scales of justice. And you getting your butt whooped in the spiritual realm. Okay? Ain't no playing around no more. None. So, I am proud to say that. Also with Yada, we have to stop getting caught up in performance. I don't know if this is a blessing or a curse for me, but I am a very good reader of energy. And two things, energy don't lie and it don't die. And I can tell when someone has been in a domestic violence relationship, and I can tell when someone is presently in a domestic violence relationship. And I've seen people posting about what a wonderful man he was, and he's doing all these. He's very performative, and he just didn't sit right in my spirit because I said it was over the top. And I don't like to judge people, but that's just what my energy told me about him. So I'm just glad his wife had the strength because they've been public figures in the community and supposed to be like reputable, conscious people in the community. So I'm just glad that she's had the strength to come out and stand up for herself. And she's going to empower a lot of other women that may be going through some things with domestic violence. But domestic violence is going to come to a halt, y'all. It's coming to a halt we've had an increase in domestic violence over the past, I would say, since 2020. And people faces, the mask is dropping off. People faces are being shown that has been putting on this facade, this facade, especially the men. Like I said, my aunt is not playing. She is exposing these demonic things that have been going on. So, we must start to recognize domestic violence. And domestic violence, we have put domestic violence in a box like it only affects individuals that are most of the time it's in like romantic relationships. But domestic violence is very broad. It is very the bandwidth is huge. Okay. It expands from, your childhood, growing up in a domestic violence relationship. And we have gotten to the point where we have normalized harm. We don't see anything wrong with it. To the point we don't recognize domestic violence. Domestic violence can affect you, your childhood. Domestic violence can affect you, of course, romantic relationships. Domestic violence can affect you on your job, your church, these systems. And don't get me started on these systems, because 2020 was very eye-opening for me. 2020 was a very shocking to me that people didn't see domestic violence on that level. Narcissistic behavior was at its all-time high. And what we're not understanding is we're looking at these systems. They are the leaders. They are the head. So, of course, if the head is all screwed up, the tail will be too, which is the ordinary people at the bottom, right? The household relationships. So, I'm just using this as an example of we did not even recognize domestic violence on those levels, in those places, because you had narcissistic behavior, narcissistic attitudes, controlling, manipulative, doing harm, mentally, emotionally, and physical, tapping into people's well-being. And then on the other side of that, you now have victims and survivors that don't want to talk about what happened in 2020. All of that is signs of domestic violence. So we got to recognize this from the top, not only from the bottom, but from the top. So when our leaders, these systems that has been in place, which are being, those walls of Jericho are being torn down, we got to recognize, we got to acknowledge that this has happened on a higher level. So why wouldn't it drop to the bottom? Okay? So you got to call it out. You can't be silenced. We must start addressing these issues face on. We must drop the mask. 2020, they wanted you to wear that mask. They wanted you to be silent. But that's what's going on. That's what's going on now. And it has affected our society so crazily. We just like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to zip my lips. I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to be silenced. While people, women, children are being harmed on its highest level. No respect for the feminine energy. But the matriarch here is to balance the scales. Men and women, we both have femininity and masculinity in us. It's all about a balance. Now we have the man against the woman against the man. No, we are here to balance each other out and work together. Work together. And the patriarch, they overstepped their boundaries. They had an abuse of power, so they got to go. They got to go. But you know what they want to do? They want to take the women out before they have to go. But they got to go. So that's what I wanted to say about that is, hey, we're having an awakening. And what's going on in our conscious is revealing in this third dimension. So it's time to heal. And with that being said, we're having our Piece to Piece, the Art of Healing exposition at the public library. The public library is collaborating with us as well as Bridges to Hope in our Forsyth County government for this event. And so we are encouraging anyone that has been affected by domestic violence to come out and participate in this event by submitting your artwork, which will be due October the 1st, 9 a.m. to noon and 4 to 7 p.m. at the Central Library. We ask that your art is already ready to hang and that they are strict with submitting your art on October the 1st. So make sure it's ready to be submitted. You can be a friend that has been affected by your friend. Like Cheryl was friends with a lot of people. If Cheryl affected you in any kind of way with her passing from domestic violence, submit your artwork, please. But it can be your childhood, your upbringing. It can be anyone that has been affected by domestic violence. So we're hoping this help start the dialogue and the healing in our community for domestic violence. So this is going to be a wonderful event. It's going to run from October to November the 21st. And I think it's the 18th or the 19th. We're going to have a little ceremony with a little hors d'oeuvres and come out and view. But the display will be the whole month of October through November the 21st. So we're excited about this. Forsyth County Library will be putting more information out on how to submit your art and what to do. So that information is coming September. So we look forward to all these interests in a new turning of the leaf in our community about domestic violence. So you can remain anonymous, but your art can be seen and heard. So we are embracing anybody in our community that has been affected by domestic violence to come and join us. So this is our way, Sound the Silence in Domestic Violence. This is our way of keeping domestic violence in the forefront of awareness. Also keeping Cheryl Anise Bethea, commemorating her, and just letting people know, do no harm. Stop normalizing harm. All right. I am Cassandra Bethea Shine, and it is through our voices and stories that we can inspire others to become survivors.